And hello, welcome to my channel, Shine Star Collections. And today is Photocard Count and Collecting Goals Day. So, oops, sorry about that. So you see here what the total number is. This is as close to correct as I can get. I think there's some discrepancies. There's a couple, mostly with ATs, of course, because there's so many. But I believe this is as close as we can get because I went through recounting. I don't think the other groups are incorrect. They might be off by a few, but I think for the most part, if there's any discrepancy, it's with ATs. And in order to not take all night to count all these cards, I counted pages mostly. So I had to go through and just kind of, go through each page and, how many cards was on the page, this, and that. So, it might be a few, it might be off by a few, but I don't think it's by too many. Let's just go look at ATs in particular. I had the hardest time trying to figure out worlds because I have it in 2 binders, so that's probably where a little bit of discrepancy is. And then the other discrepancy is these are like the trade sale binder cards, which I no longer have in the binder. I have them packaged with some of my fan maids, and so I wasn't going to go through and open all those again. They're in like little plastic baggies, and I'm actually going to give a few of those away at the VR concert as freebies. And I've also decided to do like bias packs with some of my beaded items, like my keychains and things like that. So it might be off by a little here, but not by much. But as you can see, my top guy here is, of course, Yosan, since Yosan was my original collection bias. I first started collecting him, and then Sunghwa by being my old bias. Sunghwa's always been the old, but Sunghwa's expensive, so that's the reason why I started with Yosan, and then when I decided to do the 2 of them together, I started, back collecting on Sunghwa for his pobs, and all the way up to Bouncy is pretty much where I stopped template shopping. I did get a lot of pobs for what is it, Crazy Form or Will. Did get quite a bit of those, but Bouncy was like the last one where I think I basically got every single pob for those 2. Coming up in third is Mr. Yuno. Of course, he's third. Him and Jongho are pretty close, as you can see. They're not off by much. And then Young filling up the 5 spot. And then between Hongjun, San, and Mingi, they're all about the same. There's not too much discrepancy with them. But yeah, so I collected quite a bit. Let's go to top 3. And also the number for binders for ATs is 23 binders for ATs. I'm pretty sure that number went down because I started putting a lot of the stuff in the old bias binders, and that's what made it go down a little bit. So you can see I have basically the same for Sunghwa and Yosan here, for the exception of this binder. where I have a little bit more for Yosan, because those are includes my singles cards that I don't have paired. And then I have Yuno in here too because of the top 3 binder, so he's in there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just that there. And then as far as the other groups, you know, not too much of a change here. We can go through like the goals and stuff like that, where I'll show you. Here's pretty much the only ones that kind of changed for the most part was One Pact and Psychers, of course. And then not too much for NCT except for Utah. Utah ballooned a lot because I bought, his solos. I anticipate that Taeyong is gonna balloon a little bit as well. And then Monster X is gonna be, of course, very active and busy. But we can go through all that when we go through the goals. Here's ONEUS and Skiz, which will be active as well. So, well, there we go. So yeah, shouldn't be too much of a surprise that ATEEZ has that many cards. I know it's gonna probably be a little bit slower this year because of the tariffs, but we're gonna do what we can. Okay, so I have this already written out because it's the second time I'm recording this. The first time the recording didn't show up, or the sound wasn't very good, so I decided to re-record. So it's actually going to be shorter than it was the first time. The first time was only like 35 minutes. But since I don't have to type, it's going to be shorter. So anyway, let's just start with ATEEZ. With ATEEZ, I am going to stick to basically what I had been doing, which is I'll do OT8 album cards and the main album cards for POBs. We're going to try to do top 3 because I did secure a spot with a GOM for a soft priority claim, and I have claimed almost everything for top 3 because I'm crazy. But also because, since for the most part, well, not for the most part, basically since the GOM is she's not doing every store, but she is doing a lot of them. And since a lot of these cards, they're able to come in a bigger group where everybody's going to be able to split the shipping and the tariff prices and all that. So I do want to claim as much as I can. But I will be like skipping some. I skipped a couple already, but I didn't skip that many. So basically I have one GOM. I did join, I think it's for the GOM that I'm working with didn't claim Apple Music, and it said something about a love letter and a flower. For those of you that are new, know I love flowers. So anything with ATEEZ and flowers, I love it. So we're just gonna have to see what they're doing. But I just did top 3 for that, and the GOM I'm working with didn't actually open her go order until now. So I had already claimed Yosan and Yunho with another GOM. And so with my present GOM, I'm only doing Sunghwa. And then, let's see. I will also be doing, for Golden Hour Part 4, the Hello 82 US exclusive. And we're going to try to do top 3 for the Hello 82 exclusive, which I believe is that holographic card, the disco card, it's called. So I presume this is going to be exactly like the chain version was, where it's hollow and it's probably going to be expensive for every member. I think the pop-up card is the banana card. Oh boy. So we'll just have to see what that is. And we'll try to get top 3 for that if possible. Pokus, same thing, top 3. And Digipack, top 3. Wu and Jungho, I'm going to try to pick up later. Either, my gums will probably have some extras, so I'll probably get those from them for the most part. And then, I forgot to put on here, and I realized this when I was collecting before. For any Japan comebacks, just, maybe 1 or 2 OT8 sets, but not a lot. Okay. And then, for merch, I don't have to put that on there. Basically, for merch, I'm going to get, there's 2 sets for Season's Greetings. There's 2 sets for Fan Kit. So we'll be getting both of those. So, yeah. Okay. For Psychers, I'm going to be doing top 3, which is Junghyun, Sumin, and Hunter. So I'll be sticking with top 3. Going to do 1 OT10 set, which is going to be the Hello 82 US exclusive. For Wrecking the House, it was... I forgot what it was called, but I know it's one where they're pretty much holding their chin or something, and I guess we call that the egg photo cards, where they're like right in the camera. So that's what I'm finishing out now, is the OT10. And then, there's a couple of cute pops, and I'll do it mostly for top 3. Just really depends. For Skiz Chanbin, album cards. So I haven't done Do It yet. But pretty much what I do is collect, after the era is done. I just go on Pokemarket and just buy a bunch. And since I didn't get tears from Pokemarket, I'm alright. So I am going to start kind of looking at Pokemarket to see what else they have, since, getting them from Neokyo is going to be a problem. But we're going to see what they have on there. Pokemarket also is, if you are on Pokemarket, you know that they've implemented a way for sellers that aren't in Korea to sell on Pokemarket as well. So, I might take advantage of that later on. Just kind of looking and seeing what they have locally, as they're trying to compete with Macari, of course. And then for Monster X, I'm pretty much gonna, since we have a date for I'm thinking that these next 1 or 2 albums are going to be without so I said collect 1 5 set and more of Shonu and Kihyun. Not a whole lot, but at least 1 5 set to represent. I think mostly what I'm focused on for Monster X is back collecting. I want to try to get as many as many OT7s as I can with Wonho. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to focus on is mostly that. So I'm not going to get a ton of, the newest Monster X cards. I really want to go back and try to back collect. Not a lot, but we're going to try our best. With One Pact, I was collecting just like all their album cards for J-Tag and Jungwoo. But since they do so many, and since I really can't buy like I used to from Neokio, I'm just going to be pretty much whatever cards I can get for them. If I can get 1 9 pocket for them where it's like, 3 cards, 3 album cards, maybe it's mixed in with a pop, whatever I can find is what I'll get. For the Kingdom, yeah, that's true. The amount of cards depending on the album. So for that release, what was it? Whatever release they did, what was it? Scent of a Flower, or I'll put it up there what it was. If they do like the royalty concept again, then I will like try to collect most of the album cards for Louis, Jahan, and Mujin, or I might do front and back, just a 9 pocket front and back. But I've, gotten to the point where I'm not happy with GF either, so I'm not going to do a ton, and just try to do what I can, I guess. And then for BTS, 1 OT7 set, just 1. I don't think I'm going to be, I don't know how it goes for pops for BTS since I haven't collected BTS, but I am going to move BTS into that purple binder that one that used to be in. So they're going to take that binder, and then, so it's everything that I had, and I know they're going to do solo albums too, so I won't collect all the solos, but I'll, collect a few for my favorites. I consider my bias line for BTS to be V, Sugar, and Hopi. So we'll see. For Wavy NCT, 1-5 sets. I don't consider it an OT because of Lucas and Win not being part of these last few albums. I haven't gotten a set for Big Band, so I do have to go back and get that. But that's just going to be a later Sharita problem. Since ATEEZ is coming back, it's kind of like, and I was saying that in the first video, that I was just like, I don't understand why I didn't go back and try to get these cards. I was just so focused on getting more ATEEZ cards that I didn't go back and get my other groups. So I have to collect. I have to go back and collect. So I will kind of go on the Okio and see what I can find for my other groups. Because I'm just going to exercise restraint as much as I can, because I'm collecting so much with these soft priority claims for ATEEZ, I'm not going to have to really buy any cards, and I'm just going to wait until the end of the era, until all the fan calls are done, whatever they're doing, and I'm just, I know there's probably going to be just one card, it's going to be that one card, that one Sungwon card, I'm going to be like, I'm going to have that card no matter what, I have to get it. But we're going to have to just chill out, because I'm going to have plenty of those cards, and I will be able to claim those cards for my GOM. So, okay, but yeah, so I'm going to catch up with the Wavy collection, and then Yuta and Taeyong, I'm sure Yuta will have another solo, and Taeyong, since he's out of military, will have his next solo. And, whatever cards I can get for them. I don't collect for MCT 127. I might just kind of pick up whatever I can get. So, we're going to stick with that. ONEUS is out of the retirement list. So, I am, even though this is, this last album is with RBW, I am going to go ahead and buy ONEUS album, and so I do want 1-4 set for the final RBW album. I'm not sure, as we don't know what company they're going to go with. I think their contract ends with RBW next month. So, I'm not really sure, what they're going to do going forward, because now Soho's in military, and I know Ito's going to have to go in eventually. So, I don't know if they're going to do, solos for the Maknae line. Kian, he's not going to have to go in, and then Wanwoong and Shone are eventually going to have to go into military. So it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, but I'm glad that I'm able to move them back up here, because I did miss collecting one-ups. I just was done collecting, like back collecting for Ito was just, it was depressing, especially knowing that one-ups wasn't getting treated fairly. But now they're going to a new company. Um, Hopefully this will work out for them. I really do. Hope so. Okay. For Ace, Ace is slow going. Whenever Ace decides to come back, of course, I'll be trying to collect one OT5 cassette and Jihan's cards whenever I can get them. I'm not going to do too much with the solos. Junie has his own company now. I'm assuming that Ace will fall under Junie's company. I was able to see Junie, by the way. I saw Junie the other night here in Chicago. He was amazing. I was able to meet him. I got a selfie, so I'm happy. But, I don't know. Whatever I can get for, their solos. Jihan is my main bias. So whatever I can get for Jihan will be great. And then Junie. And then Kiho and Yichan. Kiho from P1 Harmony and Yichan from 82 Major, because they're brothers. So I did set up the brother binder and just basically whatever cards I can get. I didn't even get anything from their last eras. What was it? P1 had Duh, and then 82 Major had Trophy. I don't collect either group. So, that's going to be like a Poke Market haul. It's going to be included in Poke Market. And for right now, on hold, the boys are on hold because of the whole situation with their dumb company. Victon, we're just not sure when they're coming back. If they're coming back. I know that one member, Sejun, is with the same company that Yuchan from Ace is with. That company. I think it's called Way Better. And then Elast, they're still with the same dumb company. I didn't even buy their last album, so they're pretty much on hold. And then Eben is retired. I stopped collecting Eben when I wasn't crazy about the last album anyway, and now the Eben's only going down to 5 members. Yeah, I'll still follow them, just not going to collect them anymore. I think that's pretty much it. I don't think that I forgot anybody. I hope I didn't forget anybody. I'm trying to rack my brain and see. Pretty sure I got everybody. I mean, I wasn't really collecting, because I have cards for, DKB, and I have cards for Very Very, but I wasn't really collecting DKB or Very Very. Of course, I'm going to support them. Very Very just had a comeback recently. I didn't buy the album, and then DKB hasn't had an album in a minute. Not just whatever the last album was. So I think that's pretty much it. As far as album buying is concerned, I'm really just gonna stick with ATs for the most part. For everybody else, we'll get, for Psychers, I usually just buy 1 or 2 sets for Psychers, and then For Chanbin, I usually just stick with his version, even though JYP doesn't put his card in the version, which is irritating. But I like having like a Chanbin version. I didn't get a Chanbin version for... Did I get one for Karma? It usually ends up being the accordion version. I want to say I don't think I got one for Karma, so I have to get one. And then Monster X. I think I bought 3 versions for Monster X, and then I ended up getting the Digipacks from a friend. So we're probably just going to go down to 1 version for Monster X. Same thing for One Pact and Kingdom. And then BTS, I'm not even sure I'll buy an album. I might. Wavy, I usually get the album secondhand, so I'll probably end up getting one. And One Us, I will get one album because I want to support them, even though I'll be giving RBW money, but it's okay. I do want to support One Us for their last comeback with RBW. And yeah, same thing with Ace. So I think that's everything. If I have forgotten anybody, I'll just put a blurb in there, but I think I got everyone that I collect. Pretty sure I got everyone. But yeah, so that was this little collecting goals photo card count go through. Once again, there's the number. 5829. So we'll definitely be going over 6,000. Definitely. I have thought about downsizing. I really have. But what I figured out is that pretty much the only collections that would probably be that anybody would be interested in would probably be Chanbin and ATs. For the most part, I can't get rid of any cards in my ATs collection. I have thought about, like, well, should I? Because I have seen people, like, and this always happens, people, because ATs drop so much, they decide that they want to get rid of some of their older cards. I have seen people just dropping ATs altogether. You know, that happens a lot. But I'm not there. I'm not there. I don't want to be there either. I think I've grown so attached to my ATs collection now, I can't even see dropping anything outside of like duplicates or whatever. I even keep some duplicates, depending on how many binders I'm going to put them in. So, you know, like I said, and I don't collect enough of like some of the bigger groups. Like I said, Chanbin, I collect for the most part. That'll probably be the only collection, but I love Chanbin. I love Chanbin's collection. So I'm not going to drop my Chanbin collection. So pretty much everything else is going to be just in that binder. I would like to get a better binder for my retired collection. Yeah, I could just little speak about that as far as the binders are concerned. I think I said 23 for for ATs, and then looks like 10 for everybody else. I think that's what I wrote down. I think the only thing I want to do binder wise is I'm moving One Us out of, I call it the binder of doom. That's what I call it right now. Moving One Us out. I just thought about it. The binder that I have that has the Kingdom and Elast, I might move One Us into that binder with Elast. With Kingdom, because I did decide that since I am going to collect One Us again for this last comeback, I'm probably going forward. For right now, I guess. I do want to put Oneness back in a regular binder, so I'm thinking that I might put Oneness in a binder with the Kingdom. And that means I'll probably buy a new binder for the Kingdom. Because right now I just have it in the plain binder. And so I'm thinking that I will it'll probably just be a Meow Cafe binder. It'll be a A4 Meow Cafe binder, or it might be a K-pop stationery binder. I'm not sure. But that's not something I'm going to do right away. I think, yeah, we'll just have to see. Because I don't have any space for any more binders right now. But I do want to move Oneness out. But they'll stay in there for the time being. And then as far as ATs is concerned, I am going to change, I'm going to change, because I have a Prism Platinum binder coming that's part of their older A4 series. I think it was called Shooting Stars or something like that. I decided that I probably want to put, did I say I'm just going to put Golden Hour in there? I think I'm going to put Golden Hour in there. I think. Because right now I have it in the K-pop stationery binder. That's what I could do. Okay. I've figured it out, guys. Figured it out. So what I'll do is that when I get the black binder and it doesn't match with the others, whatevs, when I get the alt bias binder, the K-pop stationery binder that I have right now, where Golden Hour is, will go to Kingdom and Oneness, I think. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So I think I wanted to do like the retired collections and another binder, but it's no problem for me to get another K-pop stationery binder. I just don't want to buy another binder right now. So I'll leave them in there for the time being, but I will change. I'll probably just leave Elast in there. I like Elast and Kingdom being in the same binder. But I will move Oneness into the binder with Elast and Kingdom. And I'll just put Elast or Oneness in the front. So, yes. There we go. Just figured it out. Okay. Alright, so I've rambled long enough. Hopefully you enjoyed this little video. For those of you that are new, I usually kind of put this at the end of the collection hauls, but because I did the collection hauls so late, or not the collection hauls, the collection flip-throughs so late, I decided to give this its own video. So hopefully you enjoyed. If you have any questions about anything I went over, or I am going to put together my supplies list too, so that people can see what supplies I have. I'll probably just make it a Google Doc and make it public for people to see what supplies I use. And I'll put that at the bottom in the description of every video. And yeah, so yeah, but if you have any questions for right now, for what binders I use, what pages, all that stuff, then please leave it down in the comment section. But anyway, that will do it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me. Like and subscribe if you want to, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.